microscopic cameras guiding surgeons through intricate medical procedures, and spacecraft on Mars gathering samples from the planet's crust. Technology allows us to experience things we've never dreamed we'd be able to, in ways we've never imagined. For example, did you know that recently a photographer in Sweden found a way to actually photograph God? Well, really, an image of you, because you were created in God's image. While it's sometimes difficult to see at first, it becomes truly amazing the longer you look at it. We found the story a little unbelievable at first, so we decided to take a closer look at it one Sunday at youth group. And then we thought it would be great to share with you guys today on Youth Sunday. Apparently, the images are captured with a special lens, and not much more is known about the process, as the photographer is very closed-mouthed about his secret. But he stands behind his assertion, saying that the image can't be seen with the naked eye. And so, to assist your vision, he suggests you use a special lens, which we have acquired for you guys this morning. Our ushers will now pass out these glasses equipped with these lenses, which we have called God's goggles. All right, well, looks like some of you, or a lot of you, have your God goggles. Now, if you will direct your attention to the front of the pews, you'll see our attendants demonstrate how to use your God goggles. I know you feel a bit silly, but just remember, people on either side of you have them on too. So no one is going to laugh at you. Everybody, put them on. Now, look left, look right, make sure they're on snugly. If you are traveling with a small child today, please make sure your glasses are on securely before assisting those around you. Please, do not attempt to move about the sanctuary while wearing these glasses so as to not injure yourself. And if you must leave while the lights are down, our attendants are now showing you the exits. Now, please direct your attention to the screens at the front of the sanctuary. And thank you for worshiping with our youth group. Okay, it looks like everybody's ready. We'll have Marguerite and Mitchell take the lights down and put some of these amazing photos up on the projector. Together, we will look for God in these photos. There, do you see it? Do you see yourself? Here, let's try the next one. Go ahead to the next photo. There. This one might be a little clearer. Can you see the image of yourself? Okay, so if you're having a little trouble with your goggles, perhaps you need to maybe adjust the dial on the side, or perhaps it's because we've played a little bit of a joke on you guys. The photographer in Sweden, yeah, we made that up. What we really have to share with you today is a collection of black and white photos that we have used in the youth group several times to help us think and see a bit differently than we normally might. These photos can be used a number of ways to inspire thought and contemplation. For this morning, we have been challenged to look at these photos and ask ourselves questions like, How does this picture illustrate something about your image of yourself? What characteristic of yourself do you see in this photo? What does this picture have to say about me or others? How does this picture reflect your journey with God? God reveals himself all the time on our journey throughout life, yet sometimes we don't see him, recognize him, or acknowledge him. Sometimes we need to stop and put on our God goggles for a moment and look for God in our everyday lives and hear what he has to say to us. It reminds us that we are all the same, even though we may look or act differently. This morning, we'd like to share with you our reflections on these photos, what we see in these images, what we'd like to think about when you see these images. Where do you see yourself? What does God say to you in these images? And no, you don't have to wear your goggles. You will discover that we are all the same kind of different.
Do you ever feel like you're standing alone in the dark? I do. Sometimes it's good to be in the dark, because then I don't have to deal with what's going on around me. But it can also be lonely and scary in the dark. I can't see what's around me or where I'm going. I can't see what's out there and if it's going to help or hurt me. God reminds me that there's always light in even the darkest situation, and that I'm never alone. With God, I can stand up for something I believe in, even when it feels like no one else is there to support me.
What do you see in this picture? I see myself dancing alone, dancing without any music, and sometimes not having anyone to dance with. Often, I find joy in being alone and dancing, uninhibited, no worries about being judged by others, and making my own music. But it also reminds me that there are times I wish I had someone to spend my life with, and I don't want to be alone. Do you ever feel that way?
Doesn't this make you smile? I wish I could be more silly, to laugh and not care if others laugh at me for what I do or say. To be able to make others smile and to be able to laugh at myself when I screw up. This makes me remember all of the times in my life. Why is it hard to remember those? This is a reminder to always let your youthful side shine through and be wacky and let loose. God will be smiling when you do.
When I look at this, I'm reminded of the very rough, sharp, and hurting times in my life. Relating to this picture, it's like having a rough patch in my life where I can't see the end, but I hope that if I keep going, the hard times will soon be over. The barbed wire reminds me of all the obstacles we have to overcome in our lives. None of us are immune to the tough times, no matter what we live, how little money or how much we have, what kind of car we drive, or what house we live in.
When I look at this, I'm reminded that there are waves in my life. Some are big and some are little. They can make my life rough, but sometimes the ocean is flat and smooth. This means that my life can be at a boring spot, or I can have nothing good or bad going on in my life. It reminds me that everyone needs a friend in their life, maybe like a best friend or a sibling, that can help you when things get rough and be there for you.
When I look at this picture, I want to fight back. It reminds me of times when I feel someone is holding me back, either physically or emotionally, and I want to fight back. I'm learning that there are times to push back and times to be still. It is not always easy to tell the difference, and that is when it is important to listen for God's voice to help me figure out what is the right thing to do. I do know that it is always important to fight for what you believe that is just and fair.
I relate to this picture because it reminds me of all the stress that we feel as teenagers. We have so many things that everyone is telling us to do, from our parents, to teachers, the media, friends, boyfriends, and girlfriends, peer society. The list is endless, and it feels like my head is going to explode. It looks like the person is praying that it all goes away, and that they can get their head back on straight. Sometimes, I feel like that will never happen. I try to remember to take a deep breath, say a prayer, and know that I have very little control of so much that goes on around me. Surely there are people that feel the same way. But this makes me happy. This is the way the world should be. Skin color shouldn't matter. Education shouldn't matter. Where I live, or what language I speak, where I was born, who my parents are or were. how I got to this country or city, what religion I am, if I have a physical or mental handicap, or if I'm a famous athlete or math genius, if I'm short, tall, fat, skinny, have freckles, have blonde, black, green, or even blue hair, have piercings or tattoos, or if I'm loud or if I'm quiet. I'm reminded that God says we are all created and as beloved children of His, that we want the same things in life, to love and to care for our families, and to live peacefully and put food on the table and have a roof above our heads, to be able to worship our God freely as we believe, and to respect others' rights and to do the same. Everyone is the same in different ways, and everyone should be treated with love and respect. Because you see, you all are the same kind of different as me.